Hi children, I hope you are all fine at home, and today we are going to learn a new lesson from 10th standard second unit, wit and humor. Now what do you mean by wit and humor? Wit and humor means being clever and amusing. Being clever and amusing. Children, do you observe this picture? What do you observe here? Yes, there are two cats are dancing. Understand? So by seeing the picture we can understand that these two makes us laugh. And here there are two comedians here. Can you guess the names of these two people? Ralangi and Ramana Reddy garu. And here there are few questions. Can you tell the names of the persons in the picture? Yes, Ralangi and Ramana Reddy. Then what are they famous for? These two persons are famous for the comedians. So they do comedy in Telugu movies. And what type of characters do they play in the movie? So they are the best comedians. And can you recall anything comic associated with them? Yes, Maya Bazaar and many other movies are there. So they are the best comedians in Telugu movies in the olden days. Now we are going to deal with a new topic from 10th standard second unit, the dear departed. What is the meaning of the phrase the dear departed? We know what is the meaning of dear. Dear means someone who is very close to us. It can be our near and dear ones, brothers, sisters, a father and mother, or anybody. And what is the meaning of departed? Departed means those who left or to leave. Here, the meaning of this phrase is the near and dear ones who left us or who left this world. And the title of our lesson is The Dear Departed. And it is a play. Play means it is a drama. Now we are going to learn The Dear Departed Part 1. So now, before we start the play or the lesson, let us know something about the author. Author is William Stanley Afton, and he was born in 1881 and lived up to 1913. And William Stanley Afton was a famous English dramatist. He was one of the best of a group of realistic playwrights and often called the Manchester School. The author, William Stanley Afton, was one of the famous English dramatists. Here, what is the meaning of dramatist? Dramatist means the person who writes dramas. And poet means one who writes poems. One who writes poems is called poet, and one who writes dramas is called dramatist. Now, William Stanley Afton was a famous English dramatist. He wrote many, many famous dramas and that brought him name and fame all over England and Europe. And he was one of the best group of realistic playwrights. The meaning of this sentence is the whatever the play he writes, he describes the existing social system of those people. So that relates to the people he writes all the playwrights. So he was often called the Manchester School. The Manchester is in England. It is in northwest of England. Now, in every play, you start to present an idea. So now, as a great author, he wants to give a message to the people through his writings or through his dramas. And he had a remarkable gift for dialogue that is evident in The Dear Departed. Now, he is the best dialogue writer. So because of his good talent in writing dialogues and so on, he became very famous all over England and Europe as a great dramatist and a playwright. The Dear Departed was first produced in Manchester in 1908. This play was produced in Manchester in 1908. Here, as a great author, he wants to give a message to the people, or he wants to expose how the people are living in the society. And through the drama, The Dear Departed, he criticizes the degradation of moral values in the British middle class. So not only these days, but also in those days also, the people did not give respect to the moral values, or the people did not give importance to the moral values. So this is seen even in those days also. Now he criticizes how the human values are neglected or degraded even in British community. So this is in brief about the author William Stanley Afton. Now here we know in every drama or play there are some characters. So people play some characters. So in this play there are 7 characters. The first characters are here Mrs. Emilia Slater and Mrs. Elizabeth Jordan, and these two are sisters. Mrs. Emilia Slater and Mrs. Elizabeth Jordan both are sisters, and Henry Slater and Ben Jordan are husbands of these two sisters, Emilia Slater and Elizabeth Jordan. Emilia Slater is the wife of Henry Slater, and Mrs. Elizabeth Jordan is wife of Ben Jordan. And Victoria Slater. Victoria Slater is the daughter of Henry Slater and Emilia Slater. And Victoria is a girl of 10 years, and she is the daughter of Henry Slater and Emilia Slater. And Abel Merriweather. Abel Merriweather is the father of Emilia and Elizabeth. Abel Merriweather is the father of Emilia and Elizabeth, and he is the grandfather of Victoria Slater. Victoria. And there is also a hidden character, Jimmy. So Jimmy is the hidden character in this play. Now, we know whenever we see a drama, there we can see a stage and it is arranged with curtains and so on. So when the curtain rises only, the play starts. And since it is a drama or a play, here the first scene that we can see is a stage. Here, when the curtain rises, Mrs. Slater is seen laying the table. She is a vigorous, plump, red-faced, vulgar woman prepared to do any amount of straight talking to get her own way. She is in black, and She goes to the window, opens it, and calls into the street. So now, as soon as the curtain is raised, who we can see on the stage? We can see, or the audience can see, the first character, Mrs. Slater. And what she is doing on the stage or in the hall? She is laying the table. Here, what is the meaning of laying the table? Laying the table means she is adjusting the table or adjusting the cloth on the table. And here, the author, William Stanley Upton, describes the character of Mrs. Slater. Here what type of woman she is? She is a vigorous woman, plump, red-faced, vulgar woman, and prepared to do any amount of straight talking to get her own way. That means she is very vigorous, very active and rough character, and fat woman, again short-tempered woman, and and a vulgar woman, that means a bad woman, and prepared to do any amount of straight talking to get her own way. That means she does anything, whatever she wants to get her happen. Now she is in black. Here, what is the meaning of the sentence? She is in black. She is in black means she wore a black dress. And she goes to the window, opens it, and calls into the street. Here, here the dialogue starts. Mrs. Slater sharply she says, "Victoria, Victoria, do you hear? Come in. Will you?" Here, Mrs. Slater sharply, that means very loudly she says, "Victoria, Victoria, do you hear? Come in. Will you?" Now, Mrs. Slater is calling her daughter Victoria. Here, this Victoria may be playing in the veranda or just outside or in the corridor or somewhere. And Mrs. Slater, very loudly she calls her daughter. And Victoria is a precocious girl. Here, what is the meaning of precocious? Very smart and clever girl. And dressed in colors. Victoria is dressed in colors, whereas her mother, Mrs. Slater, is dressed in black. Usually, when do people wear black dress? Mainly in European communities, can be in the Europe or America and so on. People wear black dress to express their sorrow or grief, and they wear black dress when someone expires. Only in that bad situation only people wear black dress. Now Victoria wore a black dress. Here we can see the sentence. She is in black. But whereas Victoria, her daughter, a precocious girl, dressed in colors and comes in. Here Victoria dressed in color and comes into the hall. And Mr. Slater says, "I am amazed at you, Victoria. I really am. Be off now and change your dress before your Aunt Elizabeth and your Uncle Ben come. It would never do for them to find you in colors with grandfather laying dead upstairs." So now this is the situation. So this is why Mrs. Slater wore a black dress. Once again we see the sentence. Mrs. Slater says, "I am amazed at you, Victoria. I am surprised at you, or I am wondered at you, Victoria. I really am. Be off now." Be off now means go away immediately and change your dress. So go immediately and change your dress before your Aunt Elizabeth and your Uncle Ben come. It would never do for them to find you in colors with grandfather lying dead upstairs. So this is the reason Mrs. Slater wore black dress, and then she is also telling her daughter Victoria to change her dress and wear a black dress because it would not be proper for them, for Aunt Elizabeth and Uncle Ben to see Victoria in color dress. Why? Because Mrs. Latter, Mrs. Latter's father had died. So this is the situation. Now, Victoria says, what are they coming for? They haven't been here for ages. Now, Victoria, a clever girl, asked her mother, what are they coming for? They haven't been here for ages. Why are they coming for? Because they haven't been here for a long time. So now what is the purpose of their coming? Now, Mrs. Latter tells, they are coming to talk over poor grandfather's affairs. They are coming to talk about grandfather's things or property. Your father sent them a telegram as soon as we found he was dead. So your father sent them a telegram as soon as myself and your father found your grandfather lying dead upstairs. Now they decided, both Mrs. Latter and her husband Henry sensed or understand that Mrs. Latter's father died. Just then a noise is heard. Then who is coming to the scene? The third person, Henry Slater. Henry Slater, a stooping, heavy man with a drooping mustache, enters. He is wearing a black tailcoat, grey trousers, and a black tie and a bowler hat. So, in according to the situation, Mr. Henry also wore a black dress. So now, Mr. Henry Slater may be very lean and tall person, and then he is stooping, and very stooping means bending forward, and this heavy man having a drooping mustache, very long mustache that are bending forward. Now he enters into the scene, and he is also wearing a black dress, a black tailcoat, grey trousers, a black tie, and a bowler hat. So this is his dress code. Now, Henry says, I am wondering if they will come at all. When you and Elizabeth quarreled, she said she would never set foot in your house again. Now, Mr. Henry expresses his doubt to his wife, Mrs. Slater. He says, I wonder if they will come at all. Here they refers to whom? They refers to the sister of Mrs. Slater and her husband. When you and Elizabeth quarreled, she said she would never set foot in your house again. So long time back, both you and your sister quarreled. And before she leaves the house, she said that she would never set her foot in the house where you live. Now, I wonder if they will come at all. Then, Mrs. Slater says, she will come fast enough after her share of what her father has left. You know how hard she can be when she likes. And where she gets it from, I can't tell. Here, Mrs. Slater says, even though we both quarreled long time back, but surely she will come fast enough after her share of our father's property. You know how hard she can be when she likes, and where she gets it from, I can't tell. Usually people won't leave property, even though we quarrel, but we like to possess the property and to have the and to to possess property also once again we mingle with our family members. So, so this is our nature. Now Henry says, I suppose it's in the family. Then he is searching for his slippers and says, where are my slippers? Then Mrs. Slater says, in the kitchen. But you want you want a new pair. Those old ones are nearly worn out. Now you need a new pair of slippers because now you are wearing a old pair of slippers and they are nearly worn out. And you don't seem to realize what it costing me to bear up like I'm doing. My heart fit to break when I see the little types that belong to father laying around and think he will never use them. Here, you would better wear these slippers of my father's now. It's lucky he had just bought a new pair. Now, Mr. Slater says, your old slippers are in the kitchen, but now you want a new pair, and those old ones are nearly worn out. And you don't realize and what costing me to bear up like I am doing. My heart fit to break when I see the little stripe that belonged to father lying around. Now, I can express my pain when even the little things that belong to father lying around, even my father's slippers also. So I don't want to leave even my father's slippers. Here, here, you would better wear the slippers of my father's now. It's lucky he had just bought a new pair. Now, Mr. Slater is going to give the new slippers of her father to her husband Henry to wear. Now, in these two paragraphs, let us see what are the important or the new vocabulary. See, now let us see the meanings of these words. Vigorous. What is the meaning of vigorous? Strong, active or energetic. Now here, who is strong, active and energetic? Mr. Slater. And plump. What is the meaning of plump? Having a full rounded shape, fleshy or fat. And get her own way. The meaning of this phrase is persuade other people to allow you to do what you want. In black. In black means in black dress. Sharply, loudly. Die. Die means do you. Be off. Be off means go off. Stooping, bending. Grouping, hanging. So these are the some of the new terms that we come across in the first 1, 2, 3 paragraphs or the dialogues. Now coming to the next dialogue. When Mrs. Slater gives the new pair of slippers to Henry to wear, then now Henry says, they will be very small for me, my dear. Why they are very small? Because Mrs. Slater's father may be very short man and the size of his slippers is very short, and Henry is a very tall man having a big foot. So the small pair of slippers can't fit for Henry. So he expresses his doubt saying, they will be very small for me, my dear. But Mrs. Slater says, they will stretch, won't they? I am not going to have them wasted. Now, Mrs. Slater tells her husband to wear, even though those new pair of slippers are too small or very small. And she says, They will stretch, won't they? I'm not going to have them wasted. Henry, I have been thinking about that bureau of my father's that is in his room, and that's in his bedroom. You know, I always wanted to have it after he died. Now, Mr. Slater also tells her husband about a bureau that is laying in the laying in her father's room. So she says, Henry, I have been thinking about that bureau of my father's that is in his bedroom. We know what is meant by bureau. Bureau means it can be a writing desk or a table with drawers and so on. You know, I always wanted to have it after he died. Now, Mr. Slater wanted to have the bureau for herself. Now, Henry says, Henry, you must arrange with Elizabeth when you are dividing things up. Usually, in our community, when someone dies in our family, a few days after their death or the departure, we divide the things between the people or among the people. So not soon after death, but after a few days. But here, Mr. Slater and Henry wanted to divide the things between her sister and her soon after the death of her father. Now, Henry says, you must arrange with Elizabeth when you are dividing things up. Here, the meaning of the sentence is, you must talk with Elizabeth before dividing things up. Mr. Slater, Elizabeth is that sharp, she will see I am after it, and and we will drive a hard bargain over it. Now says, Mr. Slater says, Elizabeth is very sharp, and she will see I am after it. And if she sees the bureau, and surely she will think that I wanted to take the bureau. And we will drive a hard bargain over it. Again, we will fight for it. And Henry says, perhaps she got her eyes on the bureau as well. Now, Henry expresses his doubt about the bureau. So now as you want to have the bureau, so in the same manner, she also might have got her eye on the bureau as well. Then, Mrs. Slater says, she has never been here since father bought it. And if it was only down here instead of in his room, she would never guess it wasn't our own. Now, Henry, now, Mrs. Slater says, she has never been here since father bought it. Here, it refers to what? It refers to the bureau. Here, see the picture of the bureau. Now, when father bought the bureau, she was not here. So my sister was not here when father bought the bureau. And not only that, she doesn't know about the bureau. And she didn't know that this bureau was bought by father. And if it was only down here instead of in his room, and she would never guess it wasn't our own. And if it is in our room, she can't tell that, or she cannot imagine that this bureau belonged to fathers. Then Henry says, Emilia. Then now Henry was or surprised at her cleverness, and he said, Emilia. Mrs. Slater says, Henry, why shouldn't you bring the bureau down here now? We can do it before they come. Now, she tells her husband, why shouldn't you bring the bureau down here now? Before, we can do it before they come. So, if you bring the bureau down from her father's room and keep it in our room, then when my sister comes, She can't guess it that it belongs to father. Then she thinks that it's our own. Henry. Now then Henry says, I wouldn't care to. Mrs. Slater, don't look so daft. Why not? Henry says. It doesn't mean delicate somehow. So now Mrs. Slater says, don't look so stupid or silly. So we can bring the bureau down. It doesn't seem delicate somehow. Now, Mrs. Slater, we can put the shabby old chest of drawers upstairs where the bureau is now. Elizabeth could have that and welcome. I have always wanted to get rid of it. She points to the drawers. Now, Mr. Slater and Henry have got a old chest of drawers or a old bureau, and she wanted to get rid of it from long time onwards. Now, and what so now what she planned is her plan is to ship the old chest of drawers to Mr. Abel Merriweather's Miss to Mr. Abel Merriweather's room and bring the new bureau to her room. So they wanted to exchange the things. Now she says, we could put that shabby old chest of drawers upstairs where the bureau is now. And Elizabeth could have it and welcome. I have always wanted to get rid of it. I have always wanted to get rid of it. Here it refers to what? It refers to the old chest of drawers that belong to Mr. Slater and Henry. Henry. Suppose they come when we are doing it. Now here, Mr. Henry expresses his doubt. So now what is his doubt? When they are bringing the bureau down from her father's room, then immediately, suppose if they come while still in the bureau, then they will notice that they are stealing the things. Then Mr. Slater says, I will fasten the front door. Don't worry, I will close the front door. Now Mr. Slater says, don't worry, I will close the front door. And get your coat off, Henry. We will change it. So now Henry, I'll close the front door. And you get your coat off. You remove your coat, Henry. Now we will change it. Mr. Slater goes out to fasten the front door. Here, fasten the front door means to close the front door. Now Henry takes his coat off and Mr. Slater reappears. Now, so now let us see what are the important or the new words from these above paragraphs. So the new terms are precocious. Precocious means intelligent, gifted or talented. Trifle, small things with less value. Briskly, quickly. Bureau, a writing desk with drawers. Startle, suddenly moved. Drive a hard bargain, work hard to negotiate agreement in one's own favor. Stupefied, surprised or shocked. Daft, stupid or silly. Shabby, unpleasant. Fasten, close, and so on. So these are the meanings of some of the new terms in the above dialogues. Now, Mr. Slater says, I will run up and move the chairs out of the way. Now, when they plan to bring the bureau down to her room and ship the old chest of drawers to Mr. Abel Merriweather's room, so they need a way in the hall. So she said, I will run up and move the chairs out of the way. Just then, Victoria appears dressed, dressed according to her father, according to her mother's instruction. So, and we have seen in the first para, Mrs. Slater tells her daughter Victoria to to go and change dress and wear a black dress. Now, Victoria dressed according to her mother's instruction and she comes. Victoria. Now, Victoria tells, what have you got your coat of father? Coat of our father? What have you got your coat of our father? Now, Victoria asks, why did you remove your coat, father? Now, Henry says, mother and I are going to bring grandfather's bureau down here. Now, Mr. Henry tells his daughter, mother and I are going to bring grandfather's bureau down here. Then Victoria asks, are you planning to pinch it? So now she is very, so as we have seen in the earlier chapter, or earlier, Victoria is a precocious girl. That means precocious means very smart girl. Now, directly she asks her father, are you planning to pinch it? Yeah. Are you planning to steal it? Now, when his daughter asked or questioned, are you planning to steal it? Then now Henry was shocked. Here, pinch it means steal it. No, my child. Grandpa gave it to your mother before he died. Now, Henry said, no, my child. Grandpa gave it to your mother before he died. Then Victoria asked, this morning? Yes. Then Victoria, how? He was drunk this morning. Then Victoria tells her father, grandfather did not die. Grandfather drank and slept. So, he says, oh, he was drunk this morning. Just then, Mrs. Slater appears. Climbing with a handsome clock under her arm. Then, Mrs. Slater sharply, Victoria, now let's see the reading comprehension. Here there are, see, the few, see, there are few dialogues. Mrs. Slater sharply, Victoria, Victoria, do you hear? Coming. Will you? Then Victoria comes in. Mrs. Slater, I am amazed at you, Victoria. I really am. Be off now and change your dress before your Aunt Elizabeth and your Uncle Ben come. It would never do for them to find you in colors with grandfather lying dead upstairs. Then Victoria says, what are they coming for? They haven't been here for ages. Mrs. Slater, they are coming to talk over poor grandpa's affairs. Your father sent them a telegram as soon as we found he was dead. Henry. Just then a noise is heard. Mr. Henry Slater, a stooping, heavy man with a drooping mustache, enters. He is wearing a black tailcoat, grey trousers, a black tie, and a bowler hat. Then he enters. Mr. Henry, I am wondering if they will come at all. When you and Elizabeth quarreled, she said she would never set foot in her house again. Mr. Slater, she will come fast enough after her share of what her father has left. You know how hard she can be when she likes, and where she gets it from, I can't tell. So from this, And here is a reading comprehension, and you need to answer the following questions. See, and here there are 5 questions. The first question is, what qualities of Mr. Slater have you noticed in this passage? And second question, which similarity do you find in between the two sisters from this passage? And who are they in the passage? What is the occasion of their arrival? Options. Abel, their grandfather, is thought to is thought to be dead, and Victoria's birthday. Mr. and Mrs. Slater housewarming function. Then, fifth question, it would never do for them to find you in colors with grandfather lying dead upstairs. What do you understand from this line about Mrs. Slater? The options are, she is commanding and giving importance to external appearance, and she is cordial, and she is mean. So these are the 3 options. So choose the right answer and answer the following questions. Thank you, children. So in the next session, so we will continue with the rest of the lesson. Thank you.